Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we'll be taking a look at Little Battler's Experience for the 3DS. This title was sent to me by Nintendo so that I could give it a look and tell you guys my opinions on it. And this game is one of those that literally came out of nowhere for me. I wasn't really expecting to, get that into it, but once I noticed that this is actually developed by Level 5, who are the same people that are responsible for Inazuma's 11, I began to understand exactly why this game felt so polished and interesting to me. Now, I'm not one of those people that are obsessed over Inazuma's 11, but I know about it, and I've been wanting to try it out for quite some time. Unfortunately, I just haven't had a chance yet. So, Little Battler's Experience is actually from an anime, from my understanding. I never really watched that particular anime, but it consists of these kids who have these tiny little robots that they use to do battle. So most of the combat in-game, at least all of the combat that I've experienced so far, basically is made through the means of these little robots that you have, and you will fight with these robots in these small arenas. Now, I know that this might sound a little bit familiar. It almost sounds like, oh, it's like Pokemon. You got your Pokeballs, you got your Pokemons in there, and they duke it out. And I guess that's something that people are really into in Japan, but as you guys know, I don't like Pokemon. But the reason I don't like Pokemon is not necessarily the mechanics around it, I just don't like the franchise as a whole. But again, that is something of a personal taste. Now, when you're talking about customizable robots that you can spend hours upon hours just fiddling around with all the different parts, like, you guys have no idea how deep the customization goes in this game, unless you've already played it. Like, there's a ton of customization, from the weapons that your robot can use to like the core unit, where you have to play almost a little mini Tetris game with the different chips and stuff that you can fit inside your robot, and that will affect it in different ways. So it will make it better with certain weapons. It will give you access to special subroutines, which are these like ultimate attacks that you can unleash with your robot. And it's all in real time. Now, that is another thing that kind of surprised me, because it is my understanding that a lot of the stuff in Inazuma's 11 is more turn-based. But again, I've never played Inazuma 11, so I don't know if that is the case or not. I'm just, it's just my personal experience on that thing. But in Little Battler's Experience, you get these robots, right? And you battle with these robots, and there's different moves that you can perform, like your robots can dash, your robots can dodge, and as a matter of fact, the dodge button is the same that you have in Dark Souls, if you guys can believe it. It's the A button on your 3DS, which which equates to the circle button on your DualShock, whatever. You will use the Y button to do your regular attacks, and the X button, what does the X button even do? It might be for switching weapons. No, switching weapons is on the D-pad. So you can also switch weapons in the middle of combat. You can equip your robot with 2 weapons, which, as far as I believe, they can be either 2 melee weapons, they can be 1 melee weapon, 1 ranged weapon, and there's even dedicated, like, 2-handed rifles, which I'm assuming will deal crap ton of damage in ranged. And the reason why you have all of this variety is to basically allow you to customize your robot as much as possible. Now, in terms of story, this, as far as I'm aware, should follow pretty much the story of the anime, where the boy called Von Yamano gets access to this very special LBX. LBX is also the name of the robots. So he gets access to this very special LBX, which is like a secret government project, and apparently this robot is supposed to like save the world, or it can become a weapon for the destruction of the world, and this little boy gets access to it. And essentially you then put a special armor on it, which is also this super rare armor that nobody else has, which is the Achilles armor. And once you combine those 2 things, your robot just becomes super powerful. Like, I noticed that my robot went from being like, this little tiny thing that dealt almost no damage in the battles that I was doing, but still enough for you to get by. And once you got the Achilles armor, it just became like this massive beast with a spear and whatnot. And yeah, the power level increased greatly when I got that specific armor. But the cool thing about it is that even though it follows through in the anime and all that, you're still free to set up your LBX as you fit. So it's like, oh, I want to put some treadmills, you know, like tank treadmills on my robot, so that he becomes, I believe they call it a bulldoze when you do that stuff. So he becomes like a bulldoze, and, you know, put some special armor on him, like changes headpiece, changes arms, you can change everything about this robot, and that will have a great effect when you actually go into dueling. Now, the game also obviously has the typical Street Pass functionality, which I don't get to experience all that much in Portugal, because not a lot of people are carrying around their 3DSs and Street Passing, which is, you know, it's very unfortunate. I keep telling people, get your 3DSs, take your 3DSs out onto the street. I want to see some Street Passes, and it just doesn't happen. But you can do that, and there's also multiplayer combat. So let's say you make yourself your nice little LBX. You have a friend also has the game. He has his nice little LBX, and you can just duke it out against each other. And that also seems like a lot of fun. And when you are playing through the game, it's not always one-on-one battles. So you will usually have, sometimes at least, you will have a party of people, and you can even customize their robots as well. These are all characters that are from the anime, I believe. You can customize their LBXs as well, so that you have, you know, so that you have your little party thing going, and you can select different strategies and tactics that they can employ. Like you can just equip a character with ranged weapons if you so desire, and then give her the tactics to stay back and just, you know, attack the enemies from afar. There's also, like, you can just give them, you know, free reign and tell them, hey, do whatever the hell you want, which is the way that I've been doing it, because there hasn't really been that many customization options for me, because the game is, I'm still in the early stages of the game, even though I'm like in 3 hours in, I believe. But yeah, there's a ton of customization available for you. It's just I haven't got a chance to play around with it all that much yet. So beyond the story mode, where you kind of follow around this mystery story where people are trying to get the kid's robot back, like this special LBX that I told you guys about, the government secret project and whatnot, there's these other people that are trying to get the robot back, and you have to fight them off constantly. Other than that, there are other things, like throughout town, there's going to be a lot of people, and they're all like LBX players. Well, not all of them, but there's a ton of them that are LBX players. And you can challenge them for duels, which will then, you will be able to get parts from doing those duels. But those are pretty damn challenging. Like, I've tried doing it twice, and I got my ass kicked both times. Because, again, I haven't had a chance to really customize my dude, because I want to, like, put an axe on him. Right now he's got a spear, and obviously you guys know me, all dwarven and stuff. I want to put a massive axe on him, which you can, and then just like chop people down with that massive axe. The animations on the game are looking pretty good. The game actually feels very, very polished. It's one of those things I feel it's probably the influence of the level 5, who are the developers of the game. They just tend to do really polished titles. The graphics, the art style looks great. The graphics are not going to blow your mind, let's face it. It is a 3DS game at the end of the day, but they look pretty good. 3D effect works fine. The action combat feels great. I really like the fact that, you know, the combat is actually action combat as opposed to turn-based, because that feels a lot more satisfying. Activating the special attack routines is also really cool. And when someone activates a special attack routine on you, you have like a 30-second timer, or is it 50? I don't know. It's a really fast timer where you have to make a call and be like, okay, I want to try and dodge this, or I want to try and block it, or I want to try and do something. You press the corresponding action, and your character reacts to the other character's ultimate. And depending on whether or not you did the right reaction, you might take less damage, you might take more damage, or you might just dodge the attack entirely. Usually I try dodging everything, but trust me, that is not always the way to go, because a lot of times I dodged and I got my ass kicked. So overall, what are my thoughts on Little Battler's Experience? It surprised me. It surprised me a whole lot. And just the other day I was listening to the 8-4 podcast, and they were saying that the LBX thing is probably a package deal to go with Yokai Watch, which is another really big thing going on in Japan. And Yokai Watch is also coming to the 3DS, although I have to be honest, I don't know anything at all about Yokai Watch, just like I don't know all that much about Little Battler's Experience. But I have to say, I really enjoyed it. If you like those RPGs where you just, you know, you're walking around through a town and reliving kind of like a little bit of the story of the anime and whatnot, and you like action combat and mechs, particularly mechs, if you like that kind of Japanese mecha type anime, you will most likely like Little Battler's Experience. It's got a couple of scenes where they actually play out, animation from, I'm not sure if it's from the show or if it's specifically for the game, but they play out a couple of animation bits which are really, really good. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you will probably enjoy the hell out of Little Battler's Experience. Like, I know that I was surprised to no end with what this game turned out to be, and I think particularly if you happen to have friends that are also interested in it, it would greatly increase the enjoyment, because it would be one of those things where you would be leveling up your LBX and you'd be customizing it and whatnot, and then you would be duking it out with your friend who's also leveling up his LBX and customizing it to no end. Let's just make sure that you guys try to even it up and not just, oh, I've gotten to the end of the game and I have all the parts now and I'm going to kick your ass. Because, yeah, I do feel that that is going to be a thing. There's also this maintenance gauge that you will have to pay attention to whenever you do combat and whatnot. There's a lot of stuff around this LBX thing and managing the LBX. Like different parts of your LBX level up, your LBX becomes more attuned to certain weapons and whatnot. There's a lot of RPG elements around your LBX and how it plays out, and tons of customization. So yeah, if you're into that kind of stuff, I think you'll enjoy Little Battler's Experience. If it doesn't sound good, then it might just not be for you. Also, obviously, there's gameplay going on in the background. There's been throughout this whole video. It should give you a pretty good idea of what to expect from the game. Anyway, what do you guys think about Little Battler's Experience? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Stop it! If you keep this up, Pharaoh's gonna be totally destroyed! Back to normal.